Imagine waking up tomorrow, living the same life you have today, but deep down, knowing you're not the person you need to be to reach your dreams. What if I told you that success doesn't start with what you do, what you earn, or who you know? It starts with who you decide to be. The moment you step into that truth, everything changes, and the life you've been chasing begins to chase you. Key point number 1 is about identity shaping destiny, and this is the foundation of everything we do in life. Imagine for a moment that every action you take, every choice you make, every habit you form is a reflection of who you believe you are. It's not just what you do that matters. It's who you see yourself as being that drives everything. Most people focus on external results. I want more money, more recognition, more success. But here's the catch. Results don't create identity. Identity creates results. If you want to change your outcomes, you first have to change who you believe you are. Your current results are simply a reflection of the identity you have been operating from. When you look at your life and see patterns, maybe you struggle with consistency, maybe you procrastinate, maybe you feel stuck. It's not the circumstances that are holding you back. It's the version of yourself that you have been showing up as. That version has a story, beliefs, and habits that keep it in its current state. But here's the power in understanding this. Identity is not fixed. You have the ability, the responsibility, and the freedom to decide who you are. You can step into a new identity, and the moment you do, your actions, decisions, and results begin to align naturally with that new version of yourself. Think about the great achievers in any field. They didn't just work harder. They became the type of people who produce extraordinary results. They cultivated identities that supported their goals. They didn't just pursue success, they embodied it. And when you start to see yourself differently, when you start to make decisions from a place of a stronger, more capable, more empowered identity, your habits change, your mindset changes, your energy changes, and the results that once seemed impossible start to show up. This is why so many people struggle. They try to change their circumstances without first changing themselves. They chase success as a goal, not as a natural outcome of becoming someone who achieves it. The moment you understand that who you are is the foundation of everything you will ever accomplish, you begin to approach your life from a place of power rather than reaction. Every choice you make becomes intentional. Every action becomes aligned, and every step you take propels you toward a future that matches the identity you are willing to claim. Key point number 2 is about empowerment through decision, and this is where a true transformation begins. Too many people live their lives as if they are passengers, letting circumstances, other people's opinions, or random events dictate the path they take. They wait for the right moment, the perfect opportunity, or a sign from the universe, and in doing so, they surrender the most powerful tool they have, the ability to consciously choose who they are and how they respond to life. Every single day, you are making decisions, some small, some monumental, but the question is, are you making them from a place of awareness, or are you allowing default patterns to control you? The truth is that your life is the sum total of your decisions, not your environment, not your luck, not your talent, your decisions. Every choice you make, even seemingly insignificant ones, signals to your mind and body who you are, what you value, and what kind of life you are willing to live. When you decide to take responsibility for who you are, rather than blaming external circumstances, you step into empowerment. You recognize that the power to change your story, to rewrite the rules, to become a different version of yourself has always been in your hands. Empowerment isn't about controlling everything around you. It's about mastering the one thing you can always control, the person you decide to be in response to any situation. When you begin to make deliberate decisions about your thoughts, your beliefs, your habits, and your actions, you start to shape a life that is aligned with your highest potential. This isn't about perfection or having it all figured out. It's about claiming your authority over your own life, deciding who you will be, and acting from that decision consistently. The moment you start choosing consciously, life stops feeling like it's happening to you, and instead, you become the force that drives your own results. This level of personal accountability is the gateway to freedom and extraordinary achievement. Every empowered choice reinforces the belief that you are the architect of your life, that your identity is not determined by circumstances, but by the conscious decisions you make about who you are and who you are becoming. And when you embrace this truthfully, you start to operate from a place of strength, clarity, and unstoppable momentum. Key point number 3 focuses on mindset over environment. And this is a principle that separates those who succeed consistently from those who struggle endlessly. Too often, people blame their circumstances for where they are in life. They look at their environment, the economy, their upbringing, their job, or the people around them, and conclude that their potential is limited by factors beyond their control. The reality is that your environment can influence you, but it does not determine you. What truly drives success is your mindset, the lens through which you interpret every challenge, every opportunity, and every obstacle. Your beliefs, your expectations, and your inner dialogue are far more powerful than the external conditions you face. Think about this. 2 people can face the exact same situation, and one will see it as a setback, a barrier, or a reason to give up, while the other will see it as a challenge, a lesson, and an opportunity to grow. The difference is never the environment, it's the mindset. Your mindset shapes your perception of what is possible and what is impossible. It determines how you respond to adversity, how you stay motivated when things get tough, and how you consistently take the actions that move you toward your goals. And here's the empowering truth. Mindset is entirely within your control. No matter where you start, no matter what resources you have or don't have, you can choose how you think, how you focus, and what you believe about yourself and your abilities. This is why the most successful people often come from the most unlikely circumstances. They learn to cultivate a mindset that thrives regardless of the environment. They train themselves. Ease to see opportunity where others see limitation, to persist when others quit, and to take control of their lives from the inside out. When you prioritize your mindset over your environment, you no longer wait for the perfect conditions to take action. You stop blaming what's outside and start mastering what's inside. Your focus shifts from why can't I to how can I? And that simple shift changes everything. You begin to see that challenges are temporary, setbacks are teachers, and every obstacle is an invitation to step into a stronger, more capable version of yourself. Once your mindset is aligned with the person you are becoming, your environment starts to work for you rather than against you, and you realize that the power to create your life has never been outside. It's always been inside. Key point number 4 is about action following identity, and this is where transformation becomes unstoppable. Too often, people focus on goals, plans, or strategies, thinking that success comes first and the person they are becoming comes second. They believe that if they just take the right steps, the right results will show up. But here's the reality. The actions that produce extraordinary results don't come from trying harder. They come from being different. When you decide who you are going to be, your actions naturally align with that identity. Imagine someone who identifies as disciplined, confident, and resourceful. When faced with a challenge, they don't hesitate or procrastinate. They act. They don't wait for motivation. They create momentum through consistency. Their behavior isn't forced. It flows from the version of themselves they have chosen to embody. This is the magic of identity-based action. You stop chasing results and start living in alignment with who you are becoming. Every decision, every habit, every effort is a reflection of that inner identity. And when your actions are aligned, the world responds. Doors that once felt closed begin to open, but opportunities that seemed out of reach start to appear. Momentum builds, not because you are pushing harder, but because the person you have decided to be generates energy, clarity, and confidence that attracts results. This is why so many people struggle to maintain progress. They act inconsistently because their actions aren't rooted in identity. They try to force behaviors that don't match the story they tell themselves about who they are. But when you commit to becoming a person who embodies the qualities necessary for success, actions stop being a chore, they become inevitable. Discipline, courage, resilience, and focus no longer feel external. They are expressions of your identity. And here's the key. Every small action taken from this empowered place reinforces who you are becoming, creating a feedback loop that accelerates growth. Habits compound, skills develop, and your influence expands. You stop fighting resistance because resistance is met with the certainty of a person who knows who they are. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to act from that identity, and every result, big or small, strengthens the belief that you are capable, committed, and unstoppable. Once you understand that action is not separate from identity but a natural expression of it, you begin to see that the path to extraordinary achievement is not a list of steps to follow. It is a journey of becoming the kind of person whose actions consistently produce extraordinary results.